Hi, my name is Robin B.
Okay.
We're here from the chatter. Thank you so much for being with us again. So today we're going to talk about modern loneliness. All right. Okay, start us off.
Okay. Um, the weird thing is the most lonely group out of the poll says that people from age 30 to 44 are the loneliest of people. And it's easy to think that, elderly people would be more lonely since they're a little bit more isolated and things, their friends leaving, dying off, things like that. But it's actually the working group that is the most isolated
The
because of,
loneliest.
yeah, they're the loneliest because the job, um lifestyle situation. So in your 20s you're hanging out with your buddies,
Right.
you're at the bar or you're
Right.
in college or what have you. There are all these group activities. When you reach 30 and stuff, that's when people start getting married, having kids and
Friends
what
move
have you.
away, right? You're single, but they're
Yeah.
married, and vice versa. You're married and they're single, so you don't hang out. Yeah.
Hang out like you once did. and
Right.
and if you do want to hang out now, you got to find a babysitter. You got to find out, your career, because you're working long hours. You're not just doing 40 hours a week. Some people are doing 70, 80 and up per week, and that cuts into your social time.
And
And then
not
social,
only, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. But I was going to say, but social media too makes you lonely, which,
Yeah, but what I was gonna say prior to this is that even if you have a spouse, because you just brought up the fact about working, you work in different hours sometimes because both of you have jobs, this, that, and the other. So you're home still sometimes by yourself.
yeah,
It's not necessarily a home thing being by yourself, but also, like you said, a mental thing too as well. You know, you,
yeah,
I got to come back to the same thing every night because your husband or your significant other is not there
yeah,
because they're
yeah.
working.
Yeah, yeah. And they said even working from home is isolating,
Oh yeah,
because you don't have that interaction that you do in an office or in an out in a public kind of thing,
oh
So I mean there are a lot of factors,
yeah.
but the one thing they said that social media does is it makes you compare your life to other people, which makes you feel lonely because they putting all the best parts out there on
Yeah,
on social media.
yeah.
Look where I'm hanging out, look who I'm hanging out with, look what I'm wearing, look what I'm doing, look what I'm eating, look what I'm drinking,
Look who
you
I'm
know.
with, blah blah blah. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
all my
yeah. I
friends
mean,
surrounding me. This.
yeah, yeah, where it's life is just grand. It's a grand ball. Meantime, you're like, I got throw up on my shirt from the baby and everything else. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah, and
it's a very easy trap to fall into. It's a
yeah,
and and it also kind of seems like they're kind of designing it that way too.
exactly. Like to separate people because even you mentioned the younger people, but the elderly too, as you said. Now their problem is they have a big thing of isolation.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
difference. Now, isolation, that's because they don't want to go out because they don't feel well, doctors. And another thing can cause isolation is money problems. People
Yep.
don't want to go out because they don't want to spend money. And that's also for younger people
Young
as
people.
well, because
Yeah.
they don't have the money to socialize like because they're busy paying bills. They're busy
Yeah.
handling life,
Yeah.
whereas other people have more money. The single people have more money to hang out and do this, that, and the other. Whereas the married person is trying to take care of their family. The elderly people are trying to pay their bills with, what they have. And they don't have the money to just say, oh, I'm going here, I'm going there. Oh, yeah, let's just go here. And that causes them to isolate themselves because they end up, oh, well, I could do this at home. I could watch TV at home. And it becomes a condition.
Yeah, yeah.
Becomes a
But I
condition.
think I think the elderly have a better grip on isolation than the working age folks do.
I don't
You
know
know,
that.
I look at some of the elders in my family,
Mm,
and they've come to grips with my peers they've all gone to the glory
right.
kind of thing. But they still get up in the morning. They still take care of themselves. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
but
It's
then
not a thing of neglect. It's like I know how to handle myself still, you know?
well,
And,
maintaining your which we're going to be coming up with a video about that too, but maintaining, yourself, you're still in
mhm,
your house. You're not doing anything. You're making yourself comfortable in your house, which is isolation. It's not
right,
loneliness. You're not
right,
lonely, but you are
right,
still being isolated unless
right.
you have
But you
go
can
out to the
be
different senior meetings, or where they have the senior housing and stuff like that, where they have activities and things like that. Then you're going out and mingling, but
mhm.
you're really still not mingling. You're just making yourself comfortable, and that's fine. That's good because you're not lonely. That's why when you had said the difference between lonely and isolation
Yeah,
before.
because you can be lonely in a crowd. You can feel lonely surrounded by people, but isolated, you don't have that human contact around you.
Right. And then sometimes it gets to a point where it becomes a habit, and you choose that because of different circumstances. You just don't feel like it anymore. You could do things in your house.
Hmm.
You make yourself
Hmm.
comfortable. You set up your food in the house. You're no longer going out to restaurants that much anymore. Things like that. So you're making yourself comfortable, which is making you isolated, which is not really good
The same
for
as
a
being
human.
lonely.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not even good for a human. You have to have some kind of contact once in a while. You know
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it does make yourself feel better, you know.
But I think you can choose to isolate yourself. You
You
don't
can,
choose to
that's what
be
they're doing.
lonely.
No,
Yeah,
no, that's the difference. You're right.
Yeah.
You don't choose to be lonely, but you choose to be isolated, but neither one of them is really good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because isolation, you have no contact with anything human form unless you're just going out to the store and coming right back home. When I say that, I mean like going out, entertaining yourself once in a while, or taking
Hmm.
a long walk. You get to the point where you
Hmm.
don't even want to do that.
Hmm.
I'm talking because I know people who've done it. My mother used to do it, and
Okay.
she got to a point where she was comfortable in her house, but just to go out when she wanted to play numbers, she would start sending people out to the store instead of going herself.
Uh-huh.
She just didn't want to leave the house, and that
Hmm.
was her choice. But if you guys have any comments on this, because this is a serious subject, because now they're making it medical, right? They're doing a medical
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. They're saying it's a systemic issue. It's not just an individual issue, which
Yeah,
is a good thing to look into because I know in some instances, especially in senior homes, retirement homes, things like that, the residents themselves are lonely, even though they are all together in a dorm type environment.
right. And
It's
so those people are not isolated because they have that one-to-one human contact, but yet
yeah,
they don't have maybe their family coming anymore, thinking about this anymore, which causes loneliness, which causes depression, which is why they're making it now a medical um,
issue. Yeah,
issue, and it being recognized now because it leads to
yeah,
depression,
yeah.
you know. And I would think both leads to depression after a while. I would
It's
think.
not just the psychological, it's also biological because
Yeah,
it impacts your heart,
your health.
impacts your blood pressure, all that
Yeah,
stuff,
because you're not doing anything. I mean, the
Yeah,
isolation, you're not doing much, and the loneliness,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you might be working. Yeah, that's different. It is a big difference between the two. So any comments you guys want to make on that, please let us know. Please like, share, and subscribe. Help us get to the next level. And we thank you so much for being with the chatter. Thank you.
See you next time. Bye-bye.